Another segment of Conversations with Kyseé, and this is going to be part 3 of We Are Not Okay. Our guest is again the good Nasiyr, the brother with all the great intellect, and we're just going to continue this conversation because it's so heavy. It's not something that we can do in an hour. So we decided to break it up and bring it to you in pieces so it's not so heavy. So he is going to do a review right now just to catch everybody up who was not here before, to catch you up just so we could all be on the same page and everything's not hitting you like, what? So, Nas, for people who have not met you before, for them their first time here, just tell them a little bit about yourself before we get into our topic.
Yes. So I want to say Shem M. I mean not Shem M Hotep, but Yiti M Hotep, which means I welcome you in peace. So I welcome everybody in peace. And again, I say Hetepu, which means I'm satisfied, or it's another way we greet each other instead of saying peace. So thank you for the invite. Um, Last week we briefly talked about um, as part of the um, the pre-colonial Africa, before the slave trade. We talked about the concept that the Nile Valley Africans had about Ma'at, and we even recommended a book, Kyseé. I don't know if you're able to flash the book up on the screen. Um, Living a life-centered Ma'at, or using Ma'at. It's a real quick, easy read.
Yeah,
Uh,
this one. Wait a minute. Is that the purple one?
it's the blue book.
The blue one? Okay.
Yes, the blue
Here we
book.
go. Right. This one here.
Yes, yes, yes.
And where
So,
can you find this book at?
yeah, so you can find this book on Amazon. It's by one of our esteemed elders, Dr. Riketti Amin, who taught out of the Oriental Institute of Chicago. She's got many years of experience in terms of Nile Valley culture and also teaching the Medu Neter. So one of our solutions that we talked about is in terms of repairing the psychological damage that we had after the transatlantic slave trade is, go back and practicing those principles of Ma'at. It's okay. Practicing those principles, and it'll help to restore our soul. The other book that we talked about in terms of things that we can do to restore the soul is learning the language of Nile Valley Africans, and this is a classical language. It's called the Medu Neter. I do have a recommended instructor guide. Uh, Sister, can you put it up on the screen? It's the introduction to Medu Neter. Let's see. All right, she must be tied up for a second. But she'll put it up
I was actually
momentarily.
I was trying to get the other one up for you. Hold on, let me
Okay.
get this. I was fixing the other one you just sent me, but I'll put
Yep.
this one up for you.
The
The
Sesh
next one.
Medu Neter. It's the one with the man holding the inscription. I think it was your document number,
No, this
not
one.
that one.
This one here,
Yes,
right?
that one right there. It's authored by brother Wuja'u Men Ib Iribaat, and he was a student of um, Dr. Riketti Ahmed. And so, we talked about the concept of standing on the shoulders of the ones who've come before us or our
Mm-hmm.
elders. That's a good example of him learning from Dr. Riketti Amin and really taking the learning of the Medu Neter to the next level. So I do recommend that as a read. Um, it's a it's like a textbook, but it's a textbook that's easy to read. Okay, and let's
Okay.
go to the third book.
That's the one
That's the one you don't have up.
I'm working on for you.
Okay, that's
I
the
thought,
one you're working on. So maybe
yeah,
we
I
can
thought,
come back to that
yeah, we
later.
can absolutely come back to that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can come back to that. We're flexible, and move forward. So those are three things that we recommended last week to help restore the soul and be an action oriented. And I just want to share something with the people. Let's see. Here we go. Um, you have to stop sharing in order for me to share a slide here, Kyseé. Kyseé?
I'm here. I'm
Yep.
here.
Can you take down? You're still sharing, so
Take this.
stop sharing, and then I'll share the
I'm
document to that.
still here.
So it's centered around, when we learn things, we promote. Here we go. We promote speaking things that we've learned and things that'll help us in the long run. And I want to share. Let's see, here we go. When we start to develop mastery around, ourselves, we use principles of, Sia, Who, in Heka, which means, we're going to learn and we're going to do some thinking. And then, we talk about what we learn, or we promote things that we've learned. And most importantly, we take action and we do things, which is Heka. So, this is our triangle of mastery, and we'll continue to use that. So, Kyseé, now that we've done a review, um, I want to also get back to, I always get the question of, what is the end game, in terms of, what we're doing, right? Here we go. And, the end game is, fairly simple for us. Can you still see my screen?
Yep. I'm sorry. I was off doing that thing for you.
No, that's okay. That's okay. But the end game for us, is really focused on our needs over the next 50 years, and really having a strategic plan
Yes.
around improving our situation, here in abroad. And so we have to be able to produce our own food. Um, we have to be able to, cure ourselves of our ailments and disease. We have to be able to defend and secure, whatever we develop and build. Um, we have to leave behind a legacy and develop, institutions of education and learning and
Hmm.
guilds, right? Everybody doesn't have to go to college, right?
Absolutely not. You just need a skill.
You need a skill,
You
right?
just need a
So,
skill, a good life skill.
yeah.
Plumbers, electricians, they don't go to college. HVAC,
And they make really good money.
make great money. Great money.
Yeah.
Besides therapists, like,
Yep.
plenty of, as long as you have a trade in service. To me, I feel like you definitely, service is a great trade to have, because like plumbers always, somebody's always gonna need something fixed, a pipe. Somebody's always gonna need some electric. So absolutely, you
Those
don't
are
have to
great
always know.
guilds and trades for us to have. We have to be able to govern ourselves, right?
Hmm.
And make sure we have a way to deal with lawlessness when there is, lawlessness, um, and keeping isfet or chaos out of our community. Um, and then we have, we have to be able to build on our own land that we
Yeah.
get,
Mm-hmm.
and we're already pretty decent at developing our own clothing lines, right?
Yep.
And hopefully, Kisei, we have some segments where we can share with the people as a follow up some of the local businesses, right? and
Mm-hmm.
and help promote them in our community.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. There you go. Okay. So we talked about the recommended readings, right? These are readings that will help, like I said, restore ourselves in some of the psychological damage that is that has happened by learning culture, learning a little bit about your culture within the language, and learning how to have a peaceful community. So when we recommend books, guess what's next, right? We
What?
recommend that people actually read them.
That part. Well,
That
I
that
mean,
means
and I mean, what I know you were saying before about the book club reading with people. I think that's
study
better.
teams.
Yeah, study teams. I mean, because I know it's somebody like me. In the beginning, I'll be like, "What?" And then sometimes people might begin, get discouraged, like, "I don't want to read this," or "This is too confusing." So I think having a platform like this, we can all read together, and people join in too. So,
I'm glad you really led with that because we call those study teams.
hmm
If we think about um, when we do go to college, right? One of the things, or you're pursuing your master's degree or whatever. One of the first things that they tell you is if you're going to be successful, we recommend that you pair up in teams. And
yeah,
so
absolutely.
we can take a book. We can take one of those books that we recommended um, and have a almost like a book club, right?
I'm here for that. I
You can
love
even
that.
turn it into a separate segment.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah,
hmm
I,
Well,
I,
I
I
mean, really, like we can just have, you know, our situation, you know,
so
where
one
we're
of
here.
the things to make it actionable, right? Because we talk about
Mhm.
action is if people want to form study teams, I'm more than happy to be on anyone's study team. I know Kisei, right? You're more than
Absolutely.
happy.
Well, I mean, I would have to be on somebody's team. I can't be the. I mean, I would have to be there to. I could be the do girl. Like, what do you need me to get for you? And I can
Yeah.
listen, but I definitely couldn't be. I wouldn't be able to. I know I haven't. I believe he's watching Joel, the guy I was telling you about. That he would absolutely be a great person for us to help us. As far as a study guide, because I'm learning just like everybody else.
Yeah, so you just talked about one of the things, right? When we need to conquer, right, new territory or new land, right, we can't do it alone.
No.
And so as a group, even small groups, because you don't want a group that's too big either, right?
Right. 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 Right.
But if people want to reach out to myself, you can tag me on my community page, and Kisei will make it available as a link. You can reach out to me, leave me a note, and say that you want to be on the study team, and we'll start um, keeping in contact with each other. Select a book. Kisei, you can even select a book
Well, I
if
want to
you want.
select. I want to select the one that you think is the easiest read to start, because I want you to think of like I'll take the Bible for instance. When I first read the Bible, that was real foreign territory to me. So I started with the children's book of Bible study, and after
Okay.
that, by the time I got to the Bible, I was like a whiz. So so
So we
if you
can do that. We can
get
we can have a
something
study team.
very something very basic just to get our feet wet, so we don't start saying like, I mean, because even like some of the language that you're saying is intimidating.
Yeah,
You might be
it
like,
can
oh,
be.
Yeah. So
And
I
so
think
we want to make,
I would love that. Hmm.
and I don't want to gloss over this, but you really hit the nail on the head, is keeping it simple, right?
Yeah, you have
If
to.
you want people to read, start out with a simple book,
Yeah.
right? Something that's easy, something that's short.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe, not maybe, let's do it, right? Let's just turn it into action.
Okay.
We can start with a life-centered, uh, life living Ma'at by Dr. Riketti Amin. You know, we can organize as a study group, right? And then have read a certain number of pages. We'll figure it out as a study group. We'll let
Yes.
some of the
I
participants.
mean, and even if it just has to start with me and you as a study group, I'm cool with that too. You know.
Okay. Well, I know we got a brother out there. Uh, we have a couple brothers and sisters out
Yeah.
there
My
that
brother
would
too.
love to join
Yeah.
us.
My brother, he loves this situation right here. I
And
can.
so let's do that. We'll,
Hmm.
reach out to me and Kyseé on our pages, and we'll put together a study group. And then, as we consume the information in the pages of a life-centered life living Ma'at, we'll discuss, well, what did you observe?
Hmm.
What did you learn? What questions do you have? Right? And we allow the participants to engage with one another,
Hmm.
answer each other's questions, right?
Hmm.
And but it'll give people the confidence to, one, they'll start, if they're interested in what they learn,
Yeah.
they'll start to, when I say digest, they'll understand,
Hmm.
what they read, and they'll have recognition and memory of what they've read.
Right.
And you really will start to develop that confidence in reading when you start talking about it,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And then, once we do some reflection based on what we've read as a study group or team, we start to implement things that are recommended, right, on how to transform our life,
Yes.
right? Because we want peace in our community. I said I didn't want to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, right?
But
Um, just yesterday, there were two funerals. I attended one. There were two funerals that I'm aware of in Neptune, and there was a funeral today. And
today on
yeah,
Sunday.
it's right across the street from my house, as a matter of fact, or down the street. Um, but we're losing our people,
Yeah.
right? We're losing our people through violence, whether it's gun violence. We're losing our people related to overdoses. We're losing our people due to bad health,
Yeah.
right? And
That
so
that's for real.
right, so by putting into practice some of the things that we're going to learn about as a team will help to restore ourselves. We will begin to love one another, and I don't mean romantic, right? But
Absolutely not. We have to love one another. Yeah.
we have to we have to love each other as ourselves, as our brother
Hmm.
and as our sister.
Hmm.
And if we do that, then violence goes away.
Yep.
We start to practice cooperative economics, right? Which is something I want to touch on briefly. But any other thoughts from your perspective in terms of the study teams?
No, I believe you covered it, especially with the review and the breaking it down. I really
Right.
like that because people if you tell somebody, if you ask somebody a question, they won't even realize what they read until you start asking specific questions. So
Yeah.
so I definitely love that, the review of it all. But no, that
Yeah.
I. Hmm.
And the aim here would be to create a habit, a good habit where, I always recommend read something 10 minutes a day, right?
Absolutely. Ab-
So,
yeah,
and then, even someone being an instructor, as an instructor, I'm learning constantly from the people that I'm engaging with. I didn't see it that way,
No,
you
yeah,
know?
it's definitely, goes back and forth. Absolutely.
Yes. So I'm excited to be able to do that with the family.
Mm-hmm.
Just again, reach out to myself on the community meeting of the minds page. We'll post a link, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
send me a message there, and also you can reach out to Kyseé, and she'll put you she'll put you D she'll put you down with the study team around this book. All right,
Now, I do see you were going to say the under cooperative economics
right.
about the apps. There we have the
Yeah. So I want to back up, but
okay,
we just talked about loving each other, right?
right, right. Mm-hmm.
If we love each other, we break bread together,
Absolutely, absolutely.
right? And so, we use, um, bread as a symbol of wealth, money,
Mm-hmm.
and also satisfaction. And so, in let me share my screen again. I got something, a visual for the people. Okay. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Can you see my screen, Kisei?
Yes, I can. Oh, this is Kwanzaa.
Yes. How did you? Oh, very good, right? So, a lot of times we talk about Sankofa, right? Which
I
means we got to go back
Mm-hmm.
and fetch what we've lost so that we can move forward.
Okay, what is that word? Sankofa.
Sankofa.
I love how that sounds.
Yeah, Sankofa. But, one of the things when I reflect on things that are successful, you recognize the Ngoza Saba, the seven principles. This is Swahili,
Mhm.
Ngoza Saba, um, as, one of the valuable things that you learn from Kwanzaa that should actually be practiced every day,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, of the seven principles, we're going to hone in on Ujamaa,
Ooh, Jamal.
Ujamaa,
Okay.
which is cooperative economics, right? If you love each other as brother and sister, as brother is brother, as sister is sister, you'll spend money together, right? In support of one another. So, you know, we're going to focus in on cooperative economics. We can come back to these other principles, but would it be really nice, Kisei,
Mm-hmm.
if to help drive the importance of the seven principles, right? What if each day of the week was
I love
named
that.
after?
I was just gonna let you finish that. Absolutely, because it need. Yeah, yeah. I like that. Just talk about one. We talk about one each day. You know.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
so if it's a day of the week, it starts to be this is how you create culture,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's done around language. It has purpose and meaning,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but when we get into cooperative economics, I always like to, reflect on some of the good work that Brother Claude Anderson. And so I'm going to talk about, if it's okay, just a little bit about Claude Anderson,
Absolutely, please.
right? I have a video. Can you see the video?
I see the video. Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me know if you can hear the video.
I can't hear the video.
You cannot hear the video?
No, no. I'm trying to let
Okay.
y'all see what I'm looking at. But.
And what about the audience?
Um. Well, if I can't hear it, they can't hear it.
Okay, then that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
one of the gentlemen that I always like to recognize is Dr. Claude Anderson. Dr. Claude Anderson um, was a advisor. He was a financial advisor to former President Jimmy Carter. Rest in
Okay.
peace. Right.
Rest
Um,
in peace to Jimmy
you
Carter.
can you can Google his name. It's Claude Anderson. Right.
Hmm.
And if you look at some of the books that instantly popped up um, about Claude Anderson, is that he wrote two really powerful books. I mean, he's got more than two, but he's got one book called you know um,
He's got a couple of them. This one, I like this one. Was it Black Labor, White Wealth?
Black
That's,
Labor, White
that's
Wealth,
a really good one to read.
and what's the other? You got Powernomics.
Hold on. Let me just go on. Let me just go on. On Amazon and put his name in because that's where that one, the other one's popping up at. So hold
Okay.
on. Yeah, I want to read that one. That sounds like it's real good. I got so many books I'm reading right now, but I don't care.
Yeah, and I don't want to overload the people, but
I just read a little bit. Like I got textbooks I'm reading. I just read 10 minutes from each. You
yeah,
know, it's a
and
journey.
I have, if I go on my own page here, right?
Hmm.
I have a lot of his videos.
So
Um,
I pulled them up on YouTube. I mean Amazon, and he has Black Labor. Oh, I'm sorry, Powernomics. Then
Powernomics.
Black Labor, White Wealth: The Search for Power and
Yep.
Economic Justice. And then this one is a Black History Reader: Question You Never Thought to Ask.
Hmm.
Dirty Little Secrets About Black History. Oh my gosh. And this one, more dirty little secrets about Black history. It's heroes
Yeah.
and other troublemakers, and that's all that I see here for him.
Yeah. Let me ask you,
What's another one? Too?
if
Oh no, that's the same one. Mhm.
Kyseé, are you able to play any of the clips?
Um,
Will the audience hear?
I don't know how to do them
Not
live.
yet.
I have to. I don't know how to do that. I usually pre-record all that.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll work on that as a process improvement, right?
Hmm.
So we can get better. My apologies, but one of the things that I will do, I don't even think that I need to provide a link for
Well,
Dr.
I
Claude
can. It
Anderson.
says I can share my screen, so let me see if I can just go on YouTube and
Yeah.
let
Well,
me.
the thing is, if you put his name into YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
there are so many interviews with, him being on. I know he's been on a couple times on the Rock Newman show for viewers
Oh, yeah. I
that are
can't.
familiar with Rock Newman. He's been on a number of platforms. He talks about the linkage between cooperative economics and our vote, right? Which is critical
I'm loving
to
this right.
understand, and
Yes.
how to leverage your buying power to get what we need in our community.
I just want to interrupt you right there, which goes
Yep.
back to what February 28th was all about, the Powernomics. I hope
Yeah.
everybody bought smart. Hmm.
Can you talk about that just briefly?
I can. So February 28th was a blackout, economic warfare, if you will, just so they can understand that with them cutting off DEI, which is it was really geared toward people of color, but DEI affects everybody. So it was a national blackout, and nobody was buying anything from big brands. I even heard from somebody that they forgot that they shouldn't be buying, and they went to McDonald's, and a person in McDonald's said, we're not supposed to be buying today. So yeah, and they was like, oh my god, I forgot.
I
So
forgot. Yeah.
people was on board. I heard that I didn't get a chance to. I wanted to go troll the grocery stores too, just to see, but I had another engagement, so I couldn't go. But I heard they were buying double to try and you know balance out what we buy. But it's
Oh
like
yeah, yeah. There was a counter. I did hear about the counter. I'll call it counter insurgent. insurgency, counter economic insurgency around trying to counteract the impact
So
of you
of
know of our community boycotting them.
so now I'm like, if they feel like that because it is just one day. So now, I mean, listen, the Montgomery uh, County bus, the boycott lasted a year, and yeah. So I feel like now we need to go longer than a day, because what you gonna do? Buy double every day for 3 days and 4 days and a
Right.
year? Because listen, I live where I live at. I have plenty of off-brand grocery stores. You know, I can readjust. I can
Oh yeah.
readjust.
So let's talk about let's jump down into the readjust. Let's talk about
Hmm.
ways that we readjust, right?
Well,
So
so I'm sorry. The first thing that I know people are going to say, because, oh, and I'll be the first to admit, Amazon Prime is a like my uncles have said, I pick a package up every day, and I have not bought from Amazon Prime. I really had to go out. Um, I did have to buy because I went out my way to look for what I wanted, but I couldn't find it, because what I wanted was just like something that it had to be bought on Amazon. So I just said we had to put a little bit more effort into we had to put a little bit more effort into it. We just can't. We have to really renew our minds and realize that, like, girl, you lived before Amazon Prime came.
that's right.
And we got to stand for something. So I just like redid my mind. Like I said, I got the we got plenty of like off-brand grocery stores that I can definitely sustain live.
So you were going to mention something about apps, right? So,
Yeah.
like Amazon has an app. There are several platforms that we can socialize and leverage to, support African owned businesses, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to recommend a couple for the people. I don't
Okay.
know if you want to share, or I can share, but
Also, I'll add them when I edit this. I'll add them.
you'll add them. So, one of them is targetfast.org, and I think I have a link up on my screen. Okay, yeah. Let me share this. You're gonna like this one, Kyseé. Uh, okay, here we go.
This is it right here. Let me turn this off.
Can you see my screen?
Yep, I can
All
see.
right. So,
I want.
Target Fast. Go ahead.
I love this.
Yes. So, one thing is technology is our friend,
Right.
right? And a lot of times when, we talk about, what happened in Greenwood, right? The Black Wall Street,
Mm-hmm.
and it being destroyed, um, we can't give up, right? That's why
Right.
you have to have a defense to protect what you own. But anyway, targetfast.org is a app. You can also access it on your computer.
This is amazing.
And and what you do is, I'm not going to put all my personal information in here, right? But you can sign up as on the app, and you can identify whether or not you can identify who you are, right?
I can't
In terms of ethnic background,
wait. Hmm.
you can say if you're joining because you want to monitor the boycott, because you want to become part of the boycott, and you can identify targets, right? Targets, not the store, but
I
target.
actually thought we was. I thought when you said that, I thought we were saying like Target fast, like fasting from Target, and he was gonna
No,
give us.
this is what target is. You see these red
I
dots?
now you said it. I love this. I'm downloading it right now.
See right here? This right here,
I love
these are
this.
targets,
Oh,
right?
I see. Look at that, and I will. I don't have. Wow, wow. This and
Now,
what's sad.
one thing is, in addition to this, is, it shows you the number of supporters that are joining the movement in the site, right? If you are a business owner, right,
Mm-hmm.
you can register your business with the app
So
free.
this is not an app though. Just so let's be clear.
It's a website.
Yeah, yeah. Because I went to the
Yeah,
app store
yeah,
trying to buy an app, so we need to be clear. It's a
yeah. No, this is a website, right?
yeah. This is
But you
the
can access it on your phone.
mm-hmm.
And I'm going to provide another one, which is actually an app. But the whole purpose here is that these are sites that you can use to get your name out if you own a company or you form a company
Mm-hmm. Oh,
where there's a community of buyers and consumers, and if they need services in your neighborhood,
wow.
right, they can actually redirect um, purchases away from the targets and to you as a business owner.
All right.
So
So
that's one. Go
how
ahead.
do you once you I want to like how do we find out? Is there something that we key in to find out if they are?
Yeah. So the thing is, I'm not on the screen where I actually put my information in, but it's pretty simple. You put first, last name, email, and
No,
telephone
I
number,
signed
right?
myself up, but I mean, like, okay, so say if I wanted to see uh, if a certain store what we need to boycott, is there? I don't see a place on here that we can search. So
Yeah, I'm not signed in, so I
okay.
can't.
No, yeah, I don't even see it.
But
But
that's Yeah, yeah. So, one of the things that we can do is offline we can engage with the app.
mm-hmm.
I mean the um
The website, yeah.
the developer of the site
Mm-hmm.
and offer suggestions, right? That'd be a great
Yeah,
suggestion,
that
right?
that cause yeah, like
Yeah.
I want to search
So,
the store right now, but
yeah, yeah. And offline when we're done with the cast, let's discuss that a little bit, right?
okay.
But this is one area where we can break bread together, right? And identify, if you own your own business, and how we can redirect money being spent against or with our targets, which don't provide economic benefit back to our community
Mm.
directly, and spend money with those in our community who will continue to shift the dollars back in our community. I want
Absolutely.
to share another one, right? Which is actually an app. Okay. I think I have to unshare and reshare.
I'm here.
Reshare. So this one is the name of this app is called Blap. Now see if you can find that one in
Oh, an
your
app.
search. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's here.
Now this is a cool one, right? So when you come, if you start online as opposed to your Google store or your I don't think it's a Microsoft, but it is on the iPhone, where you can get the iPhone apps, or you can come to the website and you can just click download for
Mm-hmm.
Android or uh, for uh, for the iPhone. But this is the cool thing,
There's
right?
a few of them on here too.
This is really cool. I wish I could show it from my location, but with this app, you put your location in,
Uh huh.
right? So I have it open on my phone here to the side. And one of the beautiful things is it says for Neptune, right? I live in Neptune, you're in Long Branch. Um, there are 19 black owned businesses,
Nice.
right? And
And where's
so each
where's
of these
that? You can't.
icons, go ahead.
That's an app.
Yeah, so this is the Blap app.
Oh, this is the black one. Okay, I'm so busy
Yeah,
downloading other ones.
yeah, yeah. So Blap, no, this is the one that when as soon as you log in, right?
Mm-hmm.
as soon as you log
Okay,
in
here we go.
you
Yeah,
put
I
your
see what you're talking
location
about.
in,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
it'll tell you how many black-owned
I
businesses
love
are in
this.
your neighborhood.
That's beautiful.
And you see these icons up on the screen?
Mm-hmm.
So it'll tell you whether or not, just visually, whether it's a bar or club,
Okay.
clothing store, hair salon, nail salon, restaurants, and it has more, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jewelry stores, liquor stores,
I'm so excited. I can't wait to
spas.
see here. I'm gonna see.
This is really cool, right? And the other thing is it'll tell you how close the business is to where you live. So for me, the first one that's up is 0.41 miles, uh, Soul Sisters Southern Cuisine, for those of you know, right?
And where's okay?
It has 0.53, It Ain't Just Fish. A lot of people probably heard of that one, right?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, it's got Jameson, Southern Cooking, and
Okay.
there's other ones that you don't recognize, right?
Right, because I only know I know those two hands down. I'm
So
logging here over here.
yeah, so the whole point in that, right? The whole point in that is that you can use other apps, and I do have other apps that we can provide links for, where
Mm-hmm.
you can support, our community during the boycott, right? But you know what, Kisei? Should
Mm-hmm.
we have to boycott multiple times a year?
No, I feel like one good time.
No, we're going to do it every day, right?
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
You,
When I say one good time, I mean like one good time, like the Montgomery bus boycott. That's what I mean.
oh, okay, that's what you mean.
That's what I mean. Okay, so I only have what I see. I see something in West End, and I see. Okay.
So do you see businesses that you recognize?
Yeah, I mean, I know this one. I know this one. I don't know. I don't
Mhm.
know. I've heard of the Soul Sisters, but I don't know them. I don't know. Eileen's Soul Food. I never heard of that.
Yeah,
Sean,
I'm just saying, are you
a whole lot.
recognizing those businesses?
No, no, I never seen them. But these
Yeah,
are also like this one here is 22 miles away, which is cool still.
yep.
So
It'll provide the address, the telephone
that's real
number.
nice. But I found
Um,
did you? It's a lot of them on there, and I just downloaded another one as a directory.
okay, you want to share it with the people?
Yep, it was. This is Black. Wait a minute, I just downloaded it. No, this one.
Is it possible? It looks like there's messages in the chat. I haven't been paying attention
That's
to them.
that was my message to you.
Oh,
This is the one
okay.
I just downloaded. This is I don't know what the actual name is.
You don't know what the name of it?
Let me see. Because
Well, just
it just has
share it to my phone, and
Black
but
Dollar. Black
this is the
Dollar time.
takeaway, right?
It's
For
a
the viewers.
Black Dollar time to buy black. It's a directory. It's a directory. I'm gonna put it in here too, but it's a directory of all black businesses.
Yeah,
So that's really good. And it's like, there's no excuse now because before we didn't know. Now, like this is good. This is good stuff.
this is good money, right?
Good money.
This is good money, right?
Now,
And
I feel like we need to share all this stuff for all little businesses and then boycott. So now everybody can know really, really, where they need to go.
right, we have
Oh,
to have a strategic plan.
Black Directory. This is the one right here. It's
Yeah, it's not coming up on the screen.
here. So
Yeah,
I'm
just
gonna
share
send it.
share it with me on the phone, and yeah, and so as a follow up to next week, right? Maybe as a follow up, we can find out, what people's experience is in difficulties, right? And I want to say, me and Kyseé are good with each other with this, right? If we have a shortcoming, or there's things that we make mistakes, or we want to correct our mistakes, but more importantly, we want constructive criticism, and so
Absolutely.
do our businesses.
Absolutely.
If they need to know, if there are suggestions for improving, right? Let them know,
And I
and
and
be
I would
sure
just
to Be
Okay, I'm
sure to
sorry.
tell them kindly, right?
That's
Don't
where I
be
was going.
nasty about it.
That's where
Is
I
that
was
what you're
going.
going to say?
I was going to say, make sure people, you can tell people anything as long as you tell them the same way you want it told to you. You can't,
Reciprocity.
because you would be offended if people are like, I loved it, and people love constructive criticism. You know.
Yeah, so we have to, as a people, that's another point, right?
Hmm.
You made a couple good points right there, right? One, but no, you're practicing ma'at, right? So that is doing ma'at by practicing reciprocity. The
Absolutely.
sister said, tell the owner as you would want the owner or someone to tell you.
Anyone.
You
You
know,
know. Hmm.
be kind,
Be kind.
be be deliberate. Don't try to sugarcoat it too much, right?
Hmm.
Because sometimes you sugarcoat it too much, they
It's
may
not.
not realize the
Yeah.
severity of an issue, right?
Hmm.
And they may misunderstand.
Right.
So it's okay. I don't say be blunt, right? But
Yeah.
make sure you don't sugarcoat. Be direct.
Just know that you get more with honey than you do with salt or pepper, whatever the saying is. This goes back to treat people how you want to be treated. If you had a business and you wanted to know what was bad, you would want somebody to tell you, but you wouldn't want somebody to tell you in a condescending, less than way. You don't want somebody to talk to you like that. So just think about it before you present it to people.
Yeah.
And if you still don't know how to communicate, a letter is always good. A kind letter, you know.
Which brings me to another point that we wanted to talk about. So, if you are business owners, right? We want business owners, to reach out to us, right? Give us your information. Give us some information about you. Provide us a link to your website if you have one. Um, Provide us with a landing page. I'm gonna just briefly. I know I showed it last week, but if you can't afford a business card, you can afford a landing page.
But they have them out now. They have those. I'm not even sure how. Remember, we'll figure out how to do that too. It's like a digital card. You can just. I know somebody was saying that like you just like can really just put your phone down and exchange information. So maybe I'll find that out too, so we can post that and talk about that in the next segment.
Absolutely. So, for example, right, I'm sharing my screen here, right, and I have Google. Um, oh, I don't want to do it there. Ooh, I almost messed up here. Google cancel has a free service called Google Sites, right? And I actually use it. Um, it's a free platform. I can go from see, it says googlesites.com.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you can use this platform to promote your own business. This
Look at that.
happens to be mine, right?
Look at you.
Uh, Little handsome devil, right?
Yeah, look all debonair.
Yeah, but you
Hmm.
can do something like build a personal profile, telling them what you do, right? Um, you can give your just like a resume, right? You put your skill set, professional experience, achievements, what have you, right? What
And
you
I think
offer.
it's better to do this too because our resume is supposed to be a page long, and you can just have this here and put all your information here, and
Yeah,
just not have to worry about having any paper either.
and then in terms of so here I'm doing a plug for my business, Brown and Associates, right? But what do we offer? I got I take them through qualifications, expertise in pricing and accounting and process improvement, change management, and some other things, right? You need to incorporate a business or things like that, you know, uh, we can get it done for you. But anyway, the point here is if you have a business, you can use Google Sites. It's free. I got to stress free so people
I was
can't.
going to say that was a good one. To that's really good.
Yeah, as a good plug, right?
That's a really good plug.
And I recommend that you reach out to me and Kyseé. I was just trying to find one more thing. Oh, here we go. Right. So the first thing is, can you see my screen still?
I can.
What do you see?
I see the Lioness Kem-University meeting of the minds.
Yeah, community meeting of the mind. So this is my Facebook page. Stop by, like the page, um, and you can send messages, right? You can send messages to myself and say, "Hey, I want to be part of the study team," or "Hey, I have a business that I want to share with you," and send us a link and your information. And then one of the things that we'll do over time as a future project. Let's see, let me just go back to the community. We have a future project where we're going to link services and consumers. It's called
That
Commerce Hub,
that's really nice. That's really really nice.
right? And so this is just a visual to understand the concept, right? This is Community Commerce Hub. But, it's focused around our strategic goals, right? Our strategic goals that we need to have over the next, 50 years. But we want to find businesses, it doesn't have to be these businesses per se, but businesses that where we need to link, like I said, consumers with people who can get the job done. Good quality experience.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's very important. Who can get the job done? Because I know that can be one of our biggest problems that people say, "Oh, I don't like you," But we have to vet these people to make sure that you're in good hands.
Yeah, we want you to be in good hands, and the concept is, over time, develop a call center, and I'll give you an example. If someone needs their grass cut, right? They call into the Commerce Hub, and they say, I need my grass cut. I have a birthday, party coming up over the weekend. We can send someone from Commerce Hub out to you, or from whoever your landscaping business is if you've registered with us, and we can contact you and say, hey, we got a job for you. And if
I
you
love that.
if you cut someone's yard, and we charge a $5 finder's fee, for making the referral and getting you the work, right? We just ask that you share it back with us when we break bread with you. And so this is an upcoming project, as people continue to engage through this site, through your platform, Kyseé,
Hmm.
we can put together and really continue down the path of Ujamaa,
Jamal.
Ujamaa, which
So
is
for our
cooperative
next session,
technology.
what are we going to cover for our next session? Are we going to still stay on Ujamaa, or are we going to go into?
Yeah, don't mention it just yet, because I don't know if I'm ready
I,
for
I
that one.
can't say it correctly. That's why I just said.
Oh, okay.
How do you
Um,
say it? How do you say it? Cool. The Kalu.
what?
I'm not going to say it. The second principle.
Oh, oh, so okay, you went back to the Ngoza Saba.
No, I thought the second one was like a KU something.
No, so the of the seven principles of Kwanzaa, right? Is
Yeah.
that your? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So of the seven principles of Kwanzaa, we have Kujijakulia.
That's what I was. That's one. Now, what does that represent?
Kujijakulia is self determination.
Right now, that's the next principle, correct?
That's a what?
That is the next principle, right? Self determination.
Oh well, if we were counting from top to bottom, it would be second.
Okay,
But
we're just gonna
we
we're just
we
gonna.
we didn't practice actually the first principle per se. We actually, because a lot of people get umoja, and let me just share
Mhm.
for the viewers, right? So they understand what you're referring to. Here we go.
So I think that should be the start of this whole thing. You know, understanding these seven principles, spending some time on
Yeah,
these principles, and then just so people can understand what our bottom line is.
You actually made a good point. But
Yeah.
you see this right, this right here, the
Yeah.
first principle. The
Mm-hmm.
first principle for unity is umoja.
Umoja. Mm-hmm.
Umoja sounds like ujama, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a separate principle around unity. It is another principle around specifically around spending money,
Well, that's
right?
that's Ujama, or yeah,
Ujama.
Ujama. Well, that's
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about
Okay.
Ujama
All right.
today because we went from talking about love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Loving your neighbor as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And part of love is breaking bread together.
Right.
And
Right.
part of breaking bread together is we're going to practice cooperative economics, right? We can use cooperative economics to support ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
or we can use cooperative economics to force and to urge and to cajole companies, governments, to conform to our needs and address our needs, right?
Yes.
We pulled the plug on the dollars, right? And we make things happen,
I love that. I
right?
love that.
Iri, which means we make things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's all I have today.
Okay.
Keep
Well,
it nice, short, and sweet for the people.
that was nice, short and sweet. So, what do we have to look forward to? When is going to be our next? Are we going to go? Well, we're figuring it out now. I'll announce it because I'm pretty flexible, and I'll have to work around your time. But
Yeah, we
I would love to really go through these each print, like just spend a segment on each principle.
you got it, boss. You
Hmm.
got it. You got it.
So yeah, I
Keep
mean
rubbing the lamp,
we
right?
can make that happen this week, really.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
so let's behind the scenes, let's continue to
yeah,
talk about the
we can do
study
that.
teams and then
Mhm.
going back to your point, the seven principles, right?
Right. But I mean,
And
even the study teams can we can still make the study team. This can just be the base, and we can still make the study teams. But we're talking about this because I could promise you, there's people who have never who have heard Kwanzaa but have no idea anything what
right.
it's about.
I'm getting a lot of pressure, y'all, to make Kwanzaa the next discussion topic. And I think it's a fair topic. Let's tee it up.
It is a fair topic, but I also feel like that's a topic that a lot of this stuff that we can't talk about in an hour. So it can be the Seven Princes Kwanzaa series where we talk about but we just can't give Kwanzaa an hour.
No, you can't get Kwanzaa there. We
You
can
know?
start with an hour though.
Yeah, we can start with an hour. So
Yeah.
we're gonna figure out a curriculum.
We have one.
Okay, okay.
We have a curriculum,
A
right?
cur-
We have a
I
curriculum.
definitely think our curriculum needs to start with these seven principles.
You know what? I'm gonna take that down, and I'm gonna make sure that it's incorporated
Yeah,
into that messaging because I think
yeah.
it's critical.
But like I said, even if we do it, we need to spend time an hour with each of these. I feel like.
Yes, I agree with you.
Hmm.
Not just after Christmas because it has nothing to do with
No,
Christmas.
no, like you said, these are principles we should be practicing every day.
Every day,
Every day.
every day, right?
So this is we need to attack this now, especially in a climate that we are in. We need to really start because people have to start. We have to start living different if you haven't already. So all right.
Okay. So I want to sign out by saying, again, Kyseé, thank you. You're a wonderful host. Thank you for having me on your platform.
Thank you.
I
I
look forward
appreciate
to coming
you.
back. I look forward to hearing about the study teams. And I want to say, um, Hotepu, I'm satisfied. The bread is on the table. And I'm going to go out with Shem M. Hotep, which means I go in peace.
Shem Him Hotep.
Share
All
with
right,
them.
guys. To the next time, please like and subscribe the podcast, and we'll see you the next time. And we're gonna be talking about the 7 principles. Peace out. Okay, don't leave just yet. It's all right. So it's still it's getting itself together. Wait, is somebody here? Is it?
Okay.
It's still getting okay.
How is